Hello everybody, it's Punfrugal Streamer, and I have a new video. This is Streamlabs OBS and OBS Studio's best record settings for 1440p 60 video. Okay, so I'm going to use Call of Duty as my example, but what I want to do is I'm going to break the video into two parts. So the first part is for you guys that just want to know what the settings are, and so that you can get to recording your content. And then the second part is going to go a little bit more in depth and talk about what those settings mean, how they affect the quality of your video, and then I will compare two different clips that I have recorded in Call of Duty Warzone that show you advanced settings and simple settings, and you can determine which one you think is better, because the latest versions of OBS are really supposed to be able to optimize what it needs to make the video as good as it can using the simple settings. And so that's what we're going to look at in the second half of the video. So let's go ahead and get into part one. Before we do, make sure you check out my socials. I have links down in the description. I use my Twitch. I stream there occasionally. I try to stream there mostly on the weekends. You can check me out on Facebook, where I post videos there. And then you could also make sure really to check out my Discord. That is growing a lot. That's really where we can get down to having people are having issues with their live streams, with recording, that sort of thing, where they can talk about what they have, share screenshots, and then we can work things out. And if it need be, we can go even further into doing a remote where I can go into your PC and actually set up things myself. But anyway, so make sure you check out the Discord. Like I said, links are down in the description below. Now, let's get into the video. Okay, so Streamlabs OBS record settings. The easiest way, the quickest way to get to it is to hit the cog key and then go to output. OBS Studio is a little different. You have an actual settings button on the lower right hand side that you can press. Either way, they will both get you to the same area where you will be able to choose streaming and recording. So for this video, we're going to focus on recording. Okay, so here I have the advanced mode. You have two versions here, simple and advanced. I like advanced mode. I recommend using advanced mode because it gives you a lot of control. Within this, you can choose where you want to record your videos to, which I recommend you recording on a hard drive separate from your operating system and from where your game is. Record format, there's a couple different options you can have. You can record in MP4, you can record in MKVs, the two that I really recommend. If you want to record in the Apple QuickTime format, an MOV or an FLV, you can do that. But remember, the MP4, MKV both support multi-track. Okay, so I actually prefer MKV. The reason I do that is because if your game or if OBS crashes mid-record, you can still have data that you can use to edit. If you do it in MP4, then if it crashes, then you lose that file. Okay, so I recommend NKV, and then you can remux this later in the MP4. Or in OBS Studio, you can have it set so that when you stop recording, it'll automatically remux, and I'll show you that here in a little while. So below that, you have audio tracks. You have up to 6 available. You can select just one, or you can select multiple. Okay, here, if you do that and you're able to split audio sources, you can record your gameplay, you can record your microphone on a separate track, you can record something like Discord or TeamSpeak on a separate track, and maybe music if you want to add that. And then within an editing software like Premiere or the free version of DaVinci Resolve, you can go in and put these tracks in there and you can edit them separately without screwing the rest up, which is really nice. Now, I recommend running NVIDIA new for recording. Even if you have an old NVIDIA card, you still get quality improvements with the new NVIDIA and optimization improvements with this. So I recommend running the new NVIDIA, and I also recommend running a CQP. So this is a constant quantization parameter. Okay, if you use X264, it's the same thing as CRF, constant rate factor. Now, they both work the same way, and you're basically setting a quality setting, and then what OBS will do, or what the encoder will do, is it will analyze each frame and try to maintain that quality that you set. For me, I've set a quality of 17. So this goes, I think it's from 0 to 55. 0 would be lossless. 55 would be as compressed as you can get. 17 to me is a good happy medium for a good quality video and file size. Keyframes, you can leave this in auto. Most people recommend actually setting this to 2. You can then set max quality is a good setting for most of your newer cards. If you're running an older card, you might need to drop this to quality, but max quality gives you 2-pass encoding, which is nice. You have a profile high here, and then I recommend both look ahead and psychovisual tuning. Look ahead is basically going to use dynamic B frames up to 4, and then psychovisual tuning is just an extra optimization improvement that will give you better quality for less bitrate. Of course, GPU, most people only have one GPU, and even if you have 2, still only use your primary one because you don't really gain anything. You might even actually lose some performance if you use your other one. Max B frames, you can set this. I have mine set to 2. All right, and then audio-wise, you can set different bit rates. I mean, this is 160 by default. I think for something like YouTube or Twitch, I think that is fine. I mean, some people recommend 320, and if you want to set it to 320, that's fine. There's nothing that's going to hurt you by doing that. But I really think most people on YouTube won't be able to tell the difference. All right, the other big area that we really need to worry about in terms of video quality is here. Okay, so here, this is where you will actually set your resolution. Your canvas resolution should be the resolution of your monitor. And then here, if you don't want to downscale, you can just set the scale to whatever your canvas resolution is for your output. This is great for recording, and this is what I typically do. And then, of course, you want to choose whatever frame rate you use. And then for here, I'm going to use 60. All right. That's really it for recording. That's all you really need to know about. The only other thing, if you want to record multiple tracks of audio, is to go into your advanced audio tab and then go in here and split these tracks up. And then you can have each of these on a separate track. So for, let's say we wanted to use 3 tracks of audio, I could use my microphone in track 1. This could be my gameplay here. And if I wanted to put music in track 3, then I would have those available. And then when you bring them into something like Resolve or Premiere, they'll be all separated in their own separate audio tracks, and you can control their levels and all that stuff. That is record settings in a nutshell. Very easy to do. Make sure that you monitor your stats and see if you're having encoding issues. Then there's things that you might need to do. You might need to lower your resolution. You might, downscale it. You might need to drop from max quality to quality. But if you have a nice smooth stream, you're good to go, or nice smooth recording, you're good to go. So there you go. All right, so let's get now into part 2, where we'll talk more in depth about these different settings, and we'll talk about simple mode. All right, everybody, so let's talk about recording in OBS Studio. I'm going to show OBS Studio this time because I want to, first of all, show you that the record settings are basically the same regardless of which version of OBS you use. But OBS Studio does give you a little bit more options than Streamlabs OBS does. And so here under output, you get there by pressing the settings button, then going to output and hit the record tab. And I am under the advanced output mode right now. So here I have my recording path set to my OBS folder on my hard drive that I use separate from my game. Okay, and I recommend you do that. You can generate file name without space if you have issues where something will not read a file because of that. You can select that. And here, of course, again, you have up to 6 audio tracks that you can record separate audio to. I'm currently using 2, just one for gameplay, one for microphone. And I have the new NVINC. Okay, so the new NVINC really is the way to go. I don't even recommend you try anything else if you have an NVIDIA video card. Because let me explain to you why even old NVIDIA cards benefit from the new NVINC. So let me explain to you why the new NVINC is the way to go. Before the old NVINC, all of the frame data was stored in system RAM and then pulled from system RAM by the encoder. So there was this path of, that it went off of your GPU into system RAM and then back to the encoder when the encoder needed it. Well, now all of your system RAM or all of your frames are stored on the GPU inside of the GPU RAM. So that path is now shortened, and therefore you get less load on your GPU, and it's just a great way to go. It's just more optimized. So that's why I recommend, even if you have an older card, to use the new NVIDIA. So if you have a Turing card, which is a GTX 1650 Super, and up from that, the GTX 1660, the Ti, and then the RTX cards, you can take advantage of the Turing optimizations. And I have a GTX 1660 in my streaming PC that I use for recording. All right, so I, of course, have the same settings here that I talked about earlier. I'm using CQP with a quality setting of 17. Here I'm using auto key interval. Again, most people are now saying set to 2. So we'll do that. Max quality, again, this is a 2-pass encoding. If you have issues with load and you're seeing issues with your video, then drop this down to quality. Profile high, again, recommend you use that. You can go with either main or high, but if you can run high, do that. It's just going to give you better quality. Look ahead, psychovisual tuning. So here's something I did not talk about in the first section of the video. If you have look ahead checked, okay, this area for max B frames is disabled. It will not, the encoder will not look at whatever you have set for max B frames. It's going to use whatever it needs here up to 4 B frames, okay? If you do not want to use that, which could add load if you're having issues, if you're having issues, you can uncheck this and then set your max B frames, which I have set here to 2. But I recommend definitely using psychovisual tuning. Psychovisual tuning has better optimizations, especially for the Turing here, where you can take advantage of using less bit rate for increased video quality. The other big area here is, of course, video. You want to make sure for recording that you set your output resolution to be the same as your canvas resolution, unless you want to record just 1080p, then you could downscale it or whatever you can do there. This uses GPU rendering to do this, so just keep that in mind. If you output here and you go and you rescale here, this is CPU. Okay, so that is the big thing. So just keep that in mind. This is software. This would be hardware. All right, so this is why most people recommend you do this first. Now, for streaming and recording at the same time, I always rescale here for streaming and leave the video here to match my base canvas. And that's how I normally do it for streaming and recording at the same time. Other than that, in advanced, the recording area, here is where I like to set my remuxing to automatically remux from MKV to MP4, so that when you quit recording, it just does it automatically. It's a nice little feature. You can also go up to the file area and you can remux manually by going and selecting the file that you have, and then it will you can set the target file, and then you manually remux it. But I just like the fact that you can set this automatically inside, so that it just does it without all of that interaction. So other than that, I like setting my video for Direct3D 11, NV12 for the color format, your color space of 709, and your color range of full. That way you get the full color spectrum on your video. And that is really it. All right, so I have a couple clips I want you to watch. They are both Warzone clips, me playing single BR, and they're both short. But the difference is one, I used simple mode to record using NVIDIA indistinguishable quality. The other one I use is CQP of 17, the settings that I taught you earlier in the video. I wanted to see what the difference was. So take a look at these, see which one you think looks better. But I want to let you know that the simple file was 28 gigabyte for the full 17 minutes, while the other one was 12 minutes at 8 gigabyte. So there is a noticeable size difference between the two files. It is interesting, but Now choose which one you think looks better. So there you have it. I think the advanced one looks a lot better, and I'm sure that the YouTube compression will absolutely destroy the simple one, although I can't tell you that right now because obviously I haven't rendered this video, but I bet that's what happens anyway. Listen to comment below what you think was the best one. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if these record settings have helped you out. If they have, I would love for you to give the thumbs up. Feed the algorithm. I need all the help I can get here. And also listen. And if you liked this video and you want more like this, then hit the subscribe button. Hit that bell for notification. You'll know when I have a video that goes live. I do a lot of these OBS videos. I do a lot of voice meter videos. I got a lot of stuff coming out, a lot of cool stuff coming out that you're going to want to know about. So I hope to see you back. Have a great rest of your week. Be safe out there, people. It's crazy out there. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.